Going live.
Okay.
All right, let's do some sound tests first. I will speak sentences, and chat will let us know how our sound levels are. Sean speaks sentences.
Uh, all right, chat. You can just go ahead and yell at me that I'm too loud right now, and I'm gonna
Yes.
go mute the tab, because I don't want to hear an echo for the entire time I'm here.
Okay, for you all know me, Ronald, the rules lawyer. I woke up an hour ago. 45 minutes was setting up. Those of you who do not do YouTube, don't, don't. Anyway, there's a lot of crap to deal with on my end. I spent 1 minute preparing some opening statements and 45 minutes dealing with the computer. Sean here is my second in command at the Rules Lawyer server, which everyone in this chat should absolutely join and also subscribe to follow. As you know, I've kind of become a D&D analyst now, you can say, as well as
Yeah.
delivering news. But, you know, my focus was initially to teach Pathfinder 2E to people who had misconceptions that it was too hard. But my overall goal, given that I'm a middle school after school RPG teacher, not at the moment, but was for 7 years, I've always had my eyes towards everyone in the hobby and people who are new. And I've always seen myself as an overall creator for tabletop RPGs. And so I did my series, The Lawyer's Critique, looking critically at the 1D&D stuff. Oh, here's my cat Megan. I have to introduce her too. She's very cute. Looking at the design. I can chat about that too. Meanwhile, I'm going to be avoiding chat and avoiding comments, and do not super chat me any spoilers of the statement that I'll be looking at today. I've already seen a couple of spoilery things. Sean has not seen the statement by Wizards of the Coast that they put out about an hour ago now. And so, yeah, I've been of the mind that the design of D&D can really benefit from the innovations that have happened in the last 8 years, and from what I personally seen in Pathfinder 2E's design. There's some really good mechanics there. But then I always thought that the playtest was artificially conservative. That there were some things that it needed to not just be add some more options kind of revision, but there's just some basic things that are relatively simple that can fix its chassis that can help DMs run the game better, etc. So see that series. But I was of the mindset that they were doing it purely for being able to tell players that this is not a new game. It's the familiar game that you have enjoyed. 5e is the most widespread and popular edition of D&D to date, and that it was for kind of short-sighted financial reasons. However, the leaks that have happened over the past month about them trying to revoke the OGL is now tainting the entire 1D&D process, and I might do a video about this, because they have a reason to, in order to swallow the current 5e gaming space, they have to be conservative in order to, as they did in their draft OGL, re-release 5e under 1.1, and their new revisions next year will basically be compatible with that. So to make them some kind of omnibus single system that is a Franken system where you can use options from 2014 and 2024. And I think that the OGL draft that went out, that has been leaked, I think that some of the theory it's saying out there about what this means for small third-party publishers is that it's completely hostile and no one would sign it, is correct. But the next conclusion to draw is that that's the goal. Wizards has absolutely no intention, at least of that draft, to have small third-party publishers publishing for it anymore. So They want to make people go away, like in 4E, and and the only way that makes sense to me is that it was the hubris you heard in the investors meeting, the fireside chat at the end of November. They in order to tell their investors that things are fine, disregard the Bank of America downgrade of their stock and the criticism that Bank of America's report said of how they handled the Magic the Gathering brand. Because we have this other segment of WotC that is about to explode, that is a household name, that is under-monetized, which, okay, while they plan to aggressively monetize D&D Beyond, what they were meaning to their investors was there's a lot more money to make, and that the movie's going to make the everything about D&D more popular, and the tabletop game is only one segment of that. They think that more money, in fact, can be made, I'm sure, through the video games, through the merchandise, through the toys. Imagine having a virtual tabletop where you can play Chris Pine's character for $9.99, in that space, or some popular characters that they want to make through these media, and make a D&D cinematic universe. They're looking at Marvel and want to repeat that. Stephen Glicker, who has a background in business and also I think video games, and either video games or tabletop role-playing games or both. I
think it's both.
Yeah, he is completely on this. He's really has a clear vision of what they're thinking and of their mindset. I recommend his channel, Roll for Combats. If you subscribe to them, subscribe to me too, by the way. We're friends. We guest on each other's channels. We are comrades in arms. And they basically have no qualms about jettisoning the current TTRPG community because they think they can just onboard a new audience that's going to be coming in because of the brand visibility that will increase with the movie and with the Baldur's Gate 3, that people will be like, Dungeons and Dragons! I love this video game and I want to try out the original game. And then sign up for D&D Beyond. There's going to be D&D Beyond discounts and pop-ups when you log into Baldur's Gate 3. There's going to be trailers preceding the D&D movie when you're sitting in the theater and waiting for your family to come in and, with the popcorn. There's going to be trailers to sign up on D&D Beyond and stuff like that. Go on your phone right now. They're going to be doing that. They're going to onboard people. And they think that's going to, this new generation of people who have no prior experience with tabletop role-playing games will happily sign up for a subscription and play the game, have the experiences that they see on Stranger Things of camaraderie, but through this virtual tabletop that will outclass, we know, because they have the budget, in terms of production values, every other VTT that's out there. And that people will then be kind of hooked. They're going to have a sunk cost feeling after they've done that for a while and not move outside of it. And so that's their theory. But I think that whatever they were thinking of doing with video games, and I'm sure that, and the best channel, I think, for that to look into what they're trying to do is Dungeons and Discourse. She's someone who has been an attorney in the past, but has a lot of experience following Games Workshop and their monetization practices and video games. And she has several good videos on her channel. She just created a new channel called Dungeons and Discourse as a split off from her other channel, which is Discourse Minis. So I heartily endorse her channel. Subscribe to her and check out her videos. But talking about what they're thinking, having a kind of aggressive monetization of D&D Beyond, but using the lessons learned in the last 15 years in video games. So I think it's purely going to be attractive at first. There's going to be like free, things, cheap things that you can purchase, or giveaways at first, but then they will sneak in more transactions. So what am I getting at here? They're thinking very clumsily and lazily and thinking that you can replicate that in a video gamization of a tabletop game. Because you can't just sign on to this virtual tabletop and start playing 6e or 5e for that matter. You need to learn. We all have our stories of joining an RPG and having to be guided and not be overwhelmed by it, and also the obvious fact that the appeal of tabletop RPGs is distinct from what you get from video games. It's that face-to-face element. It's that the creativity you can have as a player bouncing off of the creativity of the GM and the imaginary world that is interacting with your player. You cannot replicate that through AI, which is, I'm sure, going to be rolled out over the next few years, an AI DM. And even before that, you can't replicate that with the CRPG like Baldur's Gate 3, obviously. And then the obvious, and they're conflating the increase in D&D's popularity the last few years. They think it's because of D&D, the brand. That's how corporate heads think. And not thinking about the importance of a general cultural shift that I would say, okay, Stranger Things is often cited, Critical Role is often cited, but I would cite underlying that. Okay, now the cat cam has turned into a crotch cam. When the cat comes back, I'll turn this on. I absolutely have no qualms about showing my crotch. Okay, so that's going to become a clip. Okay, I've become a YouTube personality, and I need to be more careful about what I say. But whatever, I'm a comedian now, in addition to a lawyer and a game master and an analyst. Yeah, I have all these hats I'm wearing now, and I'm going to just restore the Megan cam at some future point. What was I talking about, Sean?
I don't know, but you were talking about your crotch to 757 people, so...
And to the future tens of thousands of people who will watch this. What I was going to say was that there's a general cultural shift seen in the boom in the board game industry of people wanting to game face-to-face. Or even through online VTTs, but to interact with actual people. And that they're missing the mark if they think that they can bank on this incoming influx of people, get them to love the D&D tabletop video game, which they're just going to call 1D&D, because that's a lazy long... You can't say that long string of things. And be attracted by... What was I going to say? I'm sorry. That you can... Basically, if you jettison the third-party community and all the creators on YouTube who onboard people into your hobby, you will have fucked up. There you go. That was my long introduction. So welcome, everybody. In the last 48 hours, Wizards of the Coast was supposed to have a video that they were going to release yesterday at 3 p.m. Eastern that was going to announce the OGL now 2.0. And they pulled that plan at the last minute. And likely the immediate cause of that was the burgeoning, very visible campaign on that many D&D players had of canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions, and some going so far as deleting them, breaking ties forever and never coming back. That visible immediate data was, I'm sure, and also this was that was spurred by a leak. And thank you to all of the Wizards of the Coast employees who have been leaking information and letting us know how we can affect things. This email said that they were looking at the drop that they were seeing in the D&D Beyond accounts, and that was had caused them to hesitate. And apparently there was a video drop that they had delayed earlier in the week, according to the Gizmodo article. And that that sparked a mass campaign of people doing that, and supported by many big figures on Twitter, such as XP to Level 3, Jacob Hutz, Ginny D, the biggest creators in the D&D space, saying cancel your account. And D&D Begone is the hashtag for that. And so they hesitated, which in retrospect was a fatal mistake, right, Sean? Because who got the initiative?
Well, they just kind of like decided to delay like 3 rounds, and then Paizo said, "Okay, we're stepping in."
Yeah.
Uh,
So Paizo announces a few hours later, which everyone watching knows about, but you all want to hear this. Paizo does a big Chad move and does what I am disappointed in myself in. When I read on the subreddit for Pathfinder that about the attorney's post in Discord saying that they're working on some true open source license, and that Paizo was in some mailing, was included in that project somehow. And then I read that Eric Mona, who heads, he's maybe the top person in Paizo, I'm not sure. He's not the president, but he's the face I see the most. That he spoke in an internal Paizo meeting and fired everybody up. I should have known, if I was not so damn busy, I should have known that this is what they were doing. And that this was absolutely the right move. I'm disappointed. I should have released a video predicting this, and then I can be like the Nostradamus of the D&D space. But whatever. Anyway, I have a lot to do. Yeah, they said that they took the high ground basically, and said that they've lost WotC. They didn't say this in their post, but the reality is so many people have lost all trust in WotC. There's nothing WotC can do to win it back at this time, anytime soon. And what good is an open gaming license if Wizards can post it at any time and it can end it at any time and undercut and destroy all the hard work that you put in whatever you did. And so they're putting out something. They're funding. They're paying the law firm that is their law firm that was co-founded by Brian. I'm forgetting his last name. Who wrote the original OGL, to draft an OGL that will be irrevocable, explicitly irrevocable, and will have no loopholes, and is tailored for TTRPG creators. And so that you can publish under it, everyone can release their own SRD, and then borrow from each other's SRDs and create a lively ecosystem where people can learn from each other's ideas and freely borrow from each other. It's a great thing it's a win-all situation for the players most of all, for people not to be hoarding their intellectual rights, and for us to be figuring out together without suing each other how we can make, well, some people will sue each other, let's be real, but borrowing the best things of each other's mechanics freely, so that we can hit all 3 pillars that we want to in our various designs. Anyway, it's exciting. The license, furthermore, would not be owned by any one company. It would eventually be owned by some neutral party, and they're looking at a nonprofit that has a history of supporting open source, such as the Linux Foundation. There's been some memes, many of them really good. We're going to make an announcement today, Sean and I, by the way, on an event. So tune in for the end of this stream for that. If you want to learn Pathfinder 2e, there's something we're going to be announcing. But let's begin this celebration / reading WotC's response by celebrating by watching this great video that I saw earlier today, that Sean has only seen the first half of, but I saw, and many people watching have not seen. So let me turn up the volume here for the audience and play it. Oh, that's too big. Hold on. Hold on. Made by DoubleCritFail. Okay, I can't make this bigger. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go.
Captain Sam, can you hear me?
Oh, wait. I don't know if Sean can hear it. You'll have to turn on the stream. Wait, I don't hear you at all, Sean.
I was muted.
Okay, why am I not hearing...
Well, chat can go blame me for that one.
I'm not hearing the
On your
video.
left.
Can chat hear the video?
It's just quiet at the start, I think.
Okay, it is quiet. Okay.
Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
Indestructible was the first one to raise the alarm.
Oh, you're there! You made it! Yay! We in there! We win!
Nick Bodega, the Gizmo reporter. Nerd Immersion, who started the OpenD&D hashtag.
It really did unite.
Disney
everyone
was there. I
against
just
us.
noticed that. It's a Star Wars property, and the game's about them playing.
Is that everyone? What, you wanted more?
Such facts.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Paizo! Who's critical? Mr. Rex! Alright, that was... I'm so happy. Okay.
That ends with them canceling the stream. Yep, that's what happened, basically.
Okay, so Wizards puts out a state... Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to say some predictions. They call it OGL 2.0 because they want to gaslight us and make some cosmetic changes to the license and put in some new phrases because this is not 1.1, which is so funny. They're playing all these word games because they called it OGL 1.1 in order to retain the name Open Gaming License, even though it's not an Open Gaming License. And when I read it, Open Gaming doesn't appear in the language except to name itself. And now they're saying OGL 2.0 because this is different from the Open Gaming License you saw before. They're completely like in between a rock and a hard place. So let's see what their Oh yeah, and they also canceled it because their announcement because they given the direction of the growing outrage, it was because they knew they couldn't get away with what they were putting out. So it was bad. We know that. So let's see if they are responding in any way strategically. They must have... Okay, the news came out by Paizo at 4 p.m. Pacific. Executives on the East Coast are probably already asleep. And then they wake up to this, and they had the long 3-day weekend with MLK Day, so I think they felt they couldn't be silent for 4 days. That would just be horrible. It was just going to build. So, here we go. I'm going to get us a drink of water. You know what? This is what you've all been waiting for, and I'm going to use this for a bathroom break. Sean,
The
feel free
patented
to...
Ronald bathroom break.
Yeah. It's a patented bathroom break because I drink 4 of these a day. Hold on.
Yeah. So anyway, chat, now I'm going to actually respond to you by talking, because I'm not interrupting Ronald to do so. I do like the idea that you guys had of them joining Orc. I think that'd be a hilarious way for this to end, and probably the only way for them to save face at this point. But it's not going to happen. They are too deep in to go for something like that. And I do agree with you, there's probably going to be a lot of long weekends. And Ghost Yuki, the Megan Cam did have something, but it was turned off because it was a crotch cam. So, as far as I'm aware, the box is empty, but sometimes it might contain Megan. Alright. So, and I can see Ron come back now, so I don't need to self time anymore.
Okay, I'm not reading chat until I read this all.
Alright, I'll be reading chat.
And given lots of viewers, you might have to take super chats for me to read out your comment. Okay. Okay, is it authored by anybody? No. It is the D&D Beyond staff, who, by the way, according to that leaked email, the D&D Beyond team was told only during the holidays, as late as the holidays themselves, that they needed to adjust to this new OGL that was coming out. And apparently the design team, Sean, was updated a few days ago. So Jeremy Crawford, Chris Perkins, those folks, I mean, they are so dirty that they can't even tell... They didn't think they could tell their own top faces, spokespeople, about this until the last minute. They thought they thought they would get away with just making it a done deal, and that they would follow along. Anyway, lots of arrogance all around. So this is not the staff. This is somebody representing the staff. So I want to clarify that. And don't direct your hate against the staff. Oh, by the way, Cynthia Williams needs to be fired, and I'm going to repeat that at the end of this stream. She's the current CEO of WOTC, and so does Chris Cox for messing up this and Magic the Gathering the past year.
Also, when are we going to do our announcement for our event?
After some discussion of this statement, and I think that's the agenda.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Do you have a time that you have to leave?
No.
Okay, cool. An update on the open
thing
game.
I planned today is with you, so.
Oh, cool. What Sean mentioned was we've been having a series called Yes, I Am Delaying the Main Event. Is Pathfinder players react to D&D 4th edition, which was an edition that was had issues but also great innovations that were then borrowed in Pathfinder 2e. That the main problem with it, was Wizards severed ties with the community in a manner similar to what just happened at the time, creating a lot of bad blood because they were banking on the influx of World of Warcraft and massive multiplayer, whatever, MMOs coming into the game. And their VTT that they were planning in 2008. Yeah, we're going to have a live stream of our 3rd session of playing 4th edition. Okay. An update on the OGL by D&D Beyond staff. When we initially conceived of revising the OGL... I'm sorry, why is this by D&D Beyond staff instead of WOTC? That's strange.
Oh, it was part of the D&D bingo. Whenever they have an announcement that they know people won't like, they put it on the smaller account, which is the D&D Beyond account.
Oh.
This is not going to be good.
That's good to know.
So that's why they put it on D&D Beyond instead of the main D&D hubs, is because they know people won't like it.
Yeah. They think people won't read it. They're so stupid. Just like when the can't, unsubscribe campaign began, and I saw this on No Nad's video. When you hover over your account in the upper right corner, there's an unsubscribe drop down. That's part of the drop down menu, and that was removed yesterday. They think 2 million nerds will not find this shit. And there was a comment on my video yesterday saying, did they think 2 million rules lawyers would not catch what they're trying to do? Okay. When we initially... I'm sorry, I'm taking forever and I'm at 7 words, but I hope I'm providing quality observations. When we initially conceived of revising the OGL, it was with 3 major goals in mind. First, we wanted the ability to prevent the use of D&D content from being included in hateful and discriminatory products. Okay, this reminds me of their December 21 statement where they're saying things that the vast majority of people would support and mixing that in with their telegraphed changes, like opposing NFTs and making them sound like they're for the little guy, and saying that, so that they were saying they were making changes to the OGL to prevent large businesses from exploiting their intellectual property. Poor Wizards of the Coast, poor Hasbro, being exploited by large corporations, large companies. Yes, I'm being
agree with me or not,
spicy.
Wouldn't that first clause also, affect them from being able to print stuff like Spelljammer? No discriminatory products, when that...
Yeah, Spelljammer and the Hadozee fiasco that they had. Look that up, Hadozee, if you're looking for drama and are getting impatient with me because I'm reading so slowly. And so yeah, these are all things we support, but as with the bullshit... Okay, I'm going to start swearing more, you guys. I think people like profanity. I don't know, the swearing lawyer... what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, BS detector's on because if they're not trying to like with the previous statement, they talked about we all are in this hobby together and we love to make creations together and stuff. Bullshit. And here they're not addressing the main thing that's angering everybody in the first sentence. So whoever anyway, people are arrogant. People think they can get away with these practices. Whatever. Second, we wanted to address those attempting to use D&D in Web3, blockchain games, and NFTs by making clear that OGL content is limited to tabletop role-playing content like campaigns, modules, and supplements. That's a lie. Okay, NFTs are only a byproduct of what they're trying to do against virtual tabletops and online reference documents that we all know you can't find shit if you play 5e. You can't find spells. You have to have 6 different books otherwise and have the physical books and look for it in third-party sites or on D&D Beyond, which I'm sure they're going to wall off being able to easily find rules unless you're subscribed to them. So that's why they're drawing a line between static electronic files and dynamic things, quote unquote, that are websites and software that let you play tabletop games on them and also compete with what they want to make the dominant VTT, which is, I don't know what they'll call it, 1D&D, let's call it that. Third, we wanted to ensure that the OGL is for the content creator, the home brewer, the aspiring designer, our players, and the community. Well, you mean everyone in the community, right? Why not just say, okay, not major corporations to use for their own commercial and promotional purpose. That's funny because I think all these companies, these third-party things, are partnerships or co-owned. They're not corporations. So who are you
They're just-
talking about? I have no idea who they're talking about here.
Have you seen that meme where somebody then just like looks around, then starts setting up a bunch of like cardboard cutouts of demons, and then starts crying on the floor, surrounded by all the demons that they made? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here, you know?
Ooh, our viewers are increasing. Cool. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's unpack this. So they are trying to stand up for the little guy against exploiting corporations. All right, have you on record for that? Good. Driving these goals were two simple principles. 1. Our job is to be good stewards of the game. And 2. The OGL exists for the benefit of the fans. Nothing about those principles has wavered for a second. Okay. So they have to disavow from the 1.1 leak then, right? If this is true. They have to say that was false.
I mean, they can just say, well, we just don't view any third-party publishers as fans.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to share, I don't have the meme, but Stephen Glicker of Roll for Combat put this meme of Kristen Bell saying, if they don't say they're preserving 1.0A, it's all a smokescreen. That was a nice, pithy way to put it.
Yeah.
That was why our early drafts of the new OGL included the provisions they did. That draft language was provided to content creators and publishers. So, as you can see, I'm a slow reader, but I'm also trying to, think while that's my fault. But that's also why people are tuning in, because I'm questioning every word. That draft language was provided to content creators and publishers, so their feedback could be considered before anything was finalized. I don't think anyone reported that, so that their feedback could be considered. Anyway. Okay, everybody knows that's a lie, but I'm just wondering... Everybody must have said this is shitty to them, right? But they didn't act on that feedback. It's nice to say you're open to feedback, but it's whether you actually listen and act on the feedback.
Yeah.
In addition to language allowing us to address smokescreen, discriminatory and hateful conduct. I should have created a little button hotkey for my streaming software. Smokescreen.
Yeah.
Discriminatory and hateful conduct, and clarifying what types of products the OGL covers. Our drafts included royalty language designed to apply to large corporations attempting to use OGL content. So they want us to have all of our eyeballs on the language affecting only creators affecting more than $750,000. Let's see if they address at all the parts that affect small creators. It was never our intent to impact the vast majority of the community. Never our intent. You had a back and forth with your lawyers about that language. You all... If it was never your intent, you have a very good claim, I think, of legal malpractice against your own legal team. To say that they included language that economically harmed you. Because that language completely severed all trust in the corporation. But anyway, I think that's true. I haven't had personal experience with personal malpractice suits, but that would be the logic. You would think a corporation can say, "You screwed us, lawyer." So I don't believe that for a second. Of course, nobody is believing this, right? But I'm just I'm breaking it down why it's a lie, why it's verifiably a lie. Okay. However, it's clear from the reaction that we rolled a 1. This is the most honest part so far. But the whole thing's a lie. Never mind. I retract that statement. Strike that.
Yeah, it's the most honest part because it means nothing.
Right. Thank you, Sean. It has become clear that it is no longer possible to fully achieve all 3 goals while still staying true to our principles. It is possible to do that by keeping the OGL.
I'm sure no big corporation or any corporation at all could ever make money while having all the rules publicly available on a website like Archives and Ethos. I'm sure that's impossible.
Yeah. It is no longer possible to fully achieve these 3 goals. And it's funny because ORC license is showing you can.
Orc.
So here is what we Wizards of the Coast are doing. Okay, the only acceptable things at this point, Sean, are we're not 1.0a is irrevocable to say that. We're revising it to 1.0b and saying it's irrevocable. And we are also gonna... Okay, this will be the next step. Well, actually, that should be enough on legal terms. It would be another gesture to, put it in the hands of a nonprofit like Paizo plans to do. The other thing to do is to say that they're going to develop the next edition of D&D under the Orc license. That's the only other acceptable thing. So what are they going to do? The next OGL, okay, they're not doing neither thing. The next OGL will contain the provisions that allow us to protect...
Also, I can see the mainstream doesn't have the, document scrolling.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa. Oh, that's because there's a lag. There's a lag.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Okay. The next
I just saw a lot
OGL
of
will
people complain
contain...
about it.
Thanks for telling me, though, because I would have forgotten that
All
you
right.
guys only see half of my screen. The next OGL will contain the provisions that allow us to protect and cultivate the inclusive environment smokescreen we are trying to build and specify that it covers only content for TTRPGs. Smokescreen because they're trying to be against blockchains and stuff. They did not mention VTTs at all in this statement so far. They're not assuring anybody anything about their intent to monopolize VTTs. That means that other expressions, such as educational and charitable campaigns, live streams, cosplay, VTT uses, etc., will remain unaffected by any OGL update. VTT uses. Okay, me using Foundry on my live stream, not walling that behind my Patreon, is a use of a VTT. That does not... That's a specific... That's a limited thing, VTT uses. They're not actually saying that VTT makers will be affected. Content already released under 1.0a will also remain unaffected. Okay, this is a climb down. They're saying they're not going to go after things already published. However, it's a little unclear. Okay, let's say Pathfinder First Edition and Paizo wants to still produce stuff. And also the OSR wants to still produce, old school essentials. This, on its face, seems to say they are not going to take legal action on them, but how much do we trust WotC at this point?
Yeah.
And that could simply mean, because we've seen them play with words before, already released. So things, already printed and distributed, right? And they may in their good graces not sue for you for those that product you still have arriving from China to distribute to your customers. This is not an assurance at all. We'll have to see the language of the new 1.1. What it will not contain is any royalty structure. Okay. That's a climb down. It also will not include the license back provision that some people were afraid was a means for us to steal work. License back provision is a term of art that they're using that they know people are not familiar with, that I'm not familiar with. To steal work. That thought never crossed our minds. Under any new OGL, you will own the content you create. We won't. Any language we put down will be crystal clear and unequivocal on that point. The license-backed language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal their work simply because of coincidental similarities. Okay, I'm going to read through this because I need to think about what's being said here. As we continue to invest in the game that we love and move forward with partnerships in film, television, and digital games, that risk is simply too great to ignore. The new OGL will contain provisions to address that risk, but we will do it without a license back and without suggesting we have rights to the content you create. Your ideas and imagination are what makes this game special, and that belongs to you. Okay, what is this about? What is this threat they're talking about? To protect us, and I might need some help from chat to answer this question. To protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal their work simply because of coincidental similarities. And apparently this is supposed to increase as they have partners with film, television. Just sit in my lap, Megan. And video games. Oh, no. And digital games. I'm going to be silent, and this is not sexy content, but I'm thinking.
Chat is pointing out that no, you technically always have ownership, it's just that Wizards gets to use it without telling you, just because they can, and they don't give you any royalties on it.
What happened under the previous under the current open gaming license is that you can publish new rules and options, and that then becomes kind of like community property that the other people can adapt and make stuff compatible to. So, for example, when Pathfinder First Edition was published, other creators could, I think, reproduce, the Gunslinger class from First Edition, or make their own version, improved Gunslinger. And that becomes usable by others. That's the kind of sharing that we support. At the same time, Paizo, if you read the fine print at the back of the First Edition core rulebook, says these sets of things are our intellectual property, our copyrighted materials, things like Galarian, the deities, I don't know what else, and that cannot be taken. So that still poses a problem when you have anyway, okay, I'm going to think silently some more. The license-backed language was intended to protect. Coincidental similarities?
That's a policy they have in a lot of ways of... that is something that companies have done to protect themselves from people saying, oh, well, actually, you copied me. And that's why a lot of authors are not allowed to read fan fiction of their own works, because then they could be accused of stealing from the fan fiction if they ever write something anywhere near related to that.
I'm thinking someone with more experience drafting contracts, I'm directing this question, is I can see the logic. Like, you want some super broad provision. You do this in contracts sometimes, where you put this super overly, invasive provision to just cover every base. It's like, when you go on the ski lift and there's a waiver saying, I waive my right to sue you for injuries I sustain. That's not something they can actually legally do in a court of law. Like, they can't make you waive your right to sue if they truly are negligent in causing your injury. They can't do that. but that's something they just put in to be kind of cover their bases, but it doesn't. That happens a lot. The problem is, though, they should have clarified this last week, you guys, right? That's the problem. If they didn't really intend to, if that was truly never their intention, they would have clarified this the day of the Gizmodo article. So I'm calling BS on this. The claim that they never intended that. Okay? So, stamp of approval. BS. What's the opposite of a stamp of approval? Rules lawyer. Smoke screen.
Stamp of rejection.
Smoke screen. Stamp of rejection, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's my
denied.
response to that.
No.
Okay, let's go back to this paragraph. What it will not contain is any royalty structure. That is just a straight concession. Thank you, opendnd. Congratulations to all of us. You know, this is a victory. Because their problem there is that they lost a bunch of big third parties. I think that they anticipated that they would still have Cobalt Press, MCDM, and Critical Role. I don't know where they're going to fall on board. What's funny is that they're supposed to get feedback, right? They're supposed to have this dialogue with them, and apparently they didn't. They didn't work. You know, they didn't apparently have a conversation because the 25% off of all your revenue, when many super successful Kickstarters don't even make 12%, as I read, was completely gonna shut them down. And you know, they had a real problem when they lost the third party companies, and that's when I think that was the tipping point this week, that the third party companies moved away. I think they genuinely were tantalized and probably were going to get some bespoke deal with Wizards of the Coast, but because they sensed among their fan bases that they would see them as betraying the hobby, that they sensed the way the wind was blowing. So there's going to be some credit given to third-party publishers for doing absolutely the right thing. And I expect the news media to report on that and focus on the big names. But my experience in politics, and I am a civil rights activist, check out By Any Means Necessary, my civil rights group that I work and don't have an income being a lawyer for, is that the driving force, that causes these shifts among the people who seem to be at the top is what we're doing, you know. And I'm becoming not that little, too. I'm now over 15,000 subscribers. Join us. Join our subscription. You know, I just had a 10K celebration. If you want to see me drunk and ranting and raving, watch my live stream where I fight my subscribers who try to take down a level 9 rules lawyer using Pathfinder 2e. But yeah, it was the overall move, because, you know, it took a little while for those third parties to defect. And I think that a lot of the outrage online, you know, gave them a sense of the way the wind was blowing. And I continue my call on all third parties, including Critical Role. I don't know if MCDM has changed their position since yesterday to, you know, join the process in crafting the ORC. Megan. Okay, what else in this? Okay, so it will not have a royalty structure. So they hope to entice those big third parties again, who I think are not going to come back. We'll see. Okay. It will not include the license back provision. That was so bad. They were not going to get it. That's going to be removed from the next OGL. And that's good. A couple of last thoughts. Okay, and then we should ask ourselves, what do they not say at the end of every corporate statement? Always ask yourself, what do they not say? A couple of last thoughts. First, we won't be able to release a new OGL today. No shit. Because we need to make sure we get it right. But it is coming. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won. And we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plans. Those people will only be...
And you know, they're kind of right because we didn't let them get away with it. So, really,
Yeah.
they did lose.
Those
It's the
people will
pie
only be
quarter.
half right. They won, and so did we, Wizards of the Coast. Our plan was always to solicit the input of our community before any update to the OGL. We've always wanted to have outrage, you guys. We've always wanted to people meme about us and call us Sauron and have the entire tabletop community, including D&D players, hate us. That was always our goal. The drafts you've seen were attempting to do just that. We want to always delight fans and create experiences together that everyone loves. We realize that we did not do that this time, and we are sorry for that. Our goal was to get exactly the type of feedback on which provisions worked and which did not. Okay, this makes 0 sense, you guys, which we ultimately got from you. Any change this major could only have been done well if we were willing to take that feedback, no matter how it was provided. So we are. Thank you for caring enough to let us know what works and what doesn't, what you need and what scares you. Without knowing that, we can't do our part to make the new OGL match our principles. Finally, we'd appreciate the chance to make this right. We love D&D's devoted players and the creators who take them on so many incredible adventures. We won't let you down. Okay. Yeah, our goal was to get exactly the type of feedback. This adds nothing new. The main thing is that this is a lie.
Yeah.
That 1.1 was a mistake that never reflected our intent. That is a lie.
I don't know how that could remotely be true.
Right. They would have responded 7 days ago.
They would have responded like frame 1 of,
Yeah.
wait, no, that's not what we're doing. We're sticking with the original one.
Yeah. So,
Sorry for confusion, and then just left it there, and then the entire kerfuffle could have been avoided.
yeah, if this is a lesson for everyone in business school watching this stream, when you get that much anger, talk to everyone you can within your company, listen to people, and respond as soon as possible, because you're lying. Everyone knows you're lying now. Okay. I don't know if... Okay, so what is it that they are not... what is it that this OGL still... Okay, they're claiming it's going to stand with their principles, but what's not removed is they still want you to report. They can still terminate and revise it at any future time, you guys. That's not mentioned.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
I like how somebody in chat mentioned there is no war in Bossing say. Feels
Yeah.
Very...
Okay, you
very
guys,
apt,
that's the main
so-
thing. They're not saying it's irrevocable. They're not saying it's a promise. They're not saying it's going to be unamendable. Because right now, they're just responding to the outrage now. But at some future point, when they have stronger market position, let's say they have that, large influx of people, their smooth brains still think that they're going to have into D&D Beyond, then they can start to change the terms of the agreement and pray that, and we are supposed to pray that they do not change it further, to quote Darth Vader. And therefore, that, I think, is the biggest thing that they're not talking about. You would still need to register with them, so you still need to sign on to the new license. I'm sorry, you guys. They're not saying they're not going to revoke 1.0a. I did say that at the beginning, so that is the big point, because there's no reason, because their goals, anyway. There's going to be some... the mainstream media is probably going to give them the benefit of the doubt here, but the only revision has to be Like, it has all the text of 1.0a with this new stuff about... I'm sorry, I'm not being clear. I'm kind of jumping around in my thoughts. They're not... Okay, the main takeaways. They're not saying they're going to not revoke 1.0a. They're not saying that they can change the terms at any time to make it more unfriendly and stealing from creators. You still need to register and sign on, basically waive your claims, basically, that you're going to stand on 1.0a by signing on to 1.1. It's harder to say you are publishing under 1.0a once you sign that online form and say, which says they're revoking 1.0a, that you're agreeing to that statement if you sign it. And everyone should still not sign it if it tries to unauthorize it. Because then they're still going to then keep the provision that we know at this point that they can change the terms of the agreement at any time. Also, the promise to not steal your work. That statement could be read in a limited way. Your ideas and imagination belongs to you. So they could be simply talking about, copyrighted materials, not your rules, not your subclass that you designed. They could take Matt Mercer's, popular subclasses and publish them themselves, if Critical Role decides to break from Wizards at some point. They can, okay, you signed our agreement. Well, they're probably going to have a bespoke agreement. Not them, but any smaller creator that signs 2.0 now, could still have their mechanics taken. Now, in principle, we want... I don't know. I don't know where I stand on that as a principle, because one would think that's the whole point of the ORC, that you can borrow from each other's mechanics. But in Wizards' hands, we know we can't trust them. I don't know. That's kind of the bottom line. And they can change the terms. Again, they can change the terms of what they can take from you in the future. They retain the right to revise the license at any time. That's the main takeaway. This shows the strength of the pushback people have made, but it is not an argument to anybody that they should wait on Wizards and not, affiliate themselves with the effort to make the orc license. I'm going to call it the orc license now. All right, those are my takeaways. I want to get my thoughts out, and let's see, what super chats do we have? I am now taking super chats. John Nichols, thank you for the $5. It appears that Wizards is changing language of that page as you read it, according to Indestructible Boy's RT. I assume that's his stream. Oh, this is 3 hours ago, you guys. Maybe I need to refresh my screen. All right, so for the record, okay, I know it's super tiny. Let's see if anything changes. Let me refresh my screen. Let me make it a little bigger for the... Okay, be sharp-eyed, folks. Here we go. Refresh. Oh, wait, no, let me copy it. Thank you, John Nichols, for raising that. Oh, and also for future content purposes, I am a YouTube creator. I need to steal the evidence while it's there. Okay, here we go. Refresh. 1, 2, 3. It looked the same to me. Okay. But, they can't revise a state. That would be so shady. We have seen the depth they can go, and we may not have seen the bottom, you guys. Oh, okay. We don't have crotch cam. We have arm cam. I'm going to turn it off. Oh. Any other super chats? Check stream elements too. Oh, did we get Stream Elements donations? Oh. Werewolf says, we always intended to ask for your feedback, which is why we canceled our announcement. The very same announcement we've prepared for months without asking for your feedback. Yes. Yeah. They're, you know, this is, if anyone believes this, they're in an unhealthy relationship with WotC. They've been bamboozled into thinking they care about you. You know, this is how someone who thinks they have power over you talks. They don't level with you. They just, you know, make you think they have good intentions. Okay, I apologize. I have Stream Elements. I know Stream Elements is the preferred way I take tips. But I don't know how to look them up at this. I'm going to go to my interface or Stream Elements. Are there any other Super Chats, Sean? And folks, stay tuned for the the announcement that Sean and I will make at the end. Okay. Okay. Were they in the chat? Did they get lost in the chat? That sucks. How do I'm sorry. So how do I find my Stream Elements tip messages? I'm on Google.
I am muted. Chat, thank you. I did that because my cat was being loud again.
Oh, people like cats. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. No, I was trying to call her and she ran away, which made me sad.
Oh.
But yeah.
Oh, I found him. Oh, wow. Oh my god, there's a lot. How long have I been? Okay. Alright, here we go. Cool. Matt S. sent $5. Thank you, Matt S. for the $5. To be honest, my heart goes out to the WotC D&D designers who I've heard had nothing to do with this and risked a lot getting the leaks out. Yes, the employees are all gamers originally. I have my criticisms of how Jeremy Crawford's approached the design, but, you know, I do think that corporate has been meddling with the designers' instincts and not letting them go where they truly want the whole time. They started as gamers, and they're not the ones who make these decisions. Cynthia Williams, she is responsible for this whole direction we've been seeing for Magic the Gathering and D&D lately. And she is responsible. Marion Petera sent $2.22, says, sending an email with a binding contract to sign is hardly a draft, quote unquote, or, quote, gathering feedback to be considered. Correct. It was offered to the people as what they had to sign. Ollie Wright sent $6.40. Thank you. Their last PR article on this D&D Beyond site about the OGL was a pack of lies. I see no reason to believe this one is any different. Correct. They lost all trust with this league after the December 21 announcement. They truly, that was bad that they said it was A and then what leaked was B. That was stupid to do that. Smell Then Sing, thank you for the $5 super chat. After a week of radio silence, this being WOTC'S quote update unquote is frankly insulting. It's just so cringy and out of touch. I agree. Thank you. Big Matt typed $4.20 saying orc. I agree. Thank you.
Can I get another wave of orcs in chat? The green wave, you know.
Orc.
Okay, now we'll see how long the chat delay is.
Oh no.
Mississippi to Mississippi.
John Nichols has sent $5. It appears that Wizards is... Oh yeah, I got that super chat. Werewolf sent a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. We always intended to ask for your feedback. Quotes, we always intended to ask for your feedback, which is why we... Oh, I'm sorry, I read that already, but thank you. John Nichols, $2, said, Indestructible Boys tweet 946 for changes in the text. So, let's go to Twitter and look at Indestructible Boy, because I believe I loaded, this. Sorry, I have to thank Indestructible Boy and congratulate him.
Link to the exact tweet I think they're referring to.
9-4. It would be like 3 hours ago. Here we go.
Yeah. And also time zones are weird. So I think that's the exact tweet they're referring to because that's the only one with screenshots of the announcement. Yep.
FYI, people with a bigger voice than me, Linda Codega. Sorry, they're adding her. They appear to be editing this in real time. Compare these screenshots of their live page. Okay, the first one says, unequivocal on that point. The license back language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal the work simply because of coincidental similarities. As we continue to invest in the game that we love and move forward with partnerships in film, television, and digital games, that risk is simply too great to ignore. The new OGL... Oh, sorry. Sorry, folks. The new OGL will contain provisions to address that risk, but we will do it without a license back and without suggesting we have rights to content you create. Your ideas and imagination are what makes this game special, and that belongs to you. That is what we read. Is that your sense too?
Yeah.
So let's see the second one. What it will not contain is a royalty structure. Wait, are there more pictures than this?
It's just the two, from what I can tell.
These are different parts of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. This is starting earlier. Under any new OGL, you will own the content you create. We won't. The license back language was intended to protect us and our partners from creators who incorrectly allege that we steal the work simply because of coincidental similarities. Lots of third-party content includes Dungeons and Dragons. That was deleted. As we continue to invest in the game that we love and move forward... Okay, I think that parenthetical was removed. Yeah, it looks shoddy that they were... But I won't... I mean... It shows how hasty they've been and desperate they feel that they didn't have this pass through 3 eyeballs, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like... If they truly wanted feedback, I feel like there were ways to get that without doing this. So what they're saying and what they did do not line up at all.
Mm-hmm. Feedback is not having, having everybody cancel you. Ooh, Jason Todd, feedback. $5. Orc. Thank you, Jason Todd.
Orc. Yep.
Eric S. Riley sent $5 super chat. Thank you. The language of protecting their IP is also a smokescreen since they already had it covered under product identity in OGL 1.0a. Correct. That is correct. Yep. Thank you for pointing that out because 1.0a like what they're doing here, what they're claiming in this paragraph is already accomplished by 1 point. You know what it is? This is a thought I have, you guys. Oh wait, I'm not so sure. Okay, the draft language, this is something to watch out for. In the draft leak 1.1, it said, look at the attached SRD 5.1. And the SRD is the whole body of rules and mechanics that people can borrow from and adapt and make stuff compatible with. That contains basically, it's like 400 pages, the current one, and that's 5.1. That's what they are included. That's what was included in the leaked the leaked SRD, draft SRD. No, sorry, the draft OGL. However, releasing a new license might be occasion for them to switch to a different SRD that has less content, that has fewer monsters, fewer classes, fewer spells. They were very stingy with what they included in the 5e SRD. I read they only included those things that... What did I read? All I know is that they were stingy. They did not have the warlock. They did not have certain... No, they did have the warlock, but they had some warlock spells that were not included in the 5e SRD. They were already being really stingy with that. And the only reason they included everything that they did was because they were already released, essentially, under the previous 3.5 SRD. So I don't know if they're going to try to pull anything. I'm sorry, this is all kind of just a side thought. It's not really relevant to the super chat. So that's just something to watch out for. It would be interesting to see which SRD, whether they include the 5.1 SRD under the new OGL, because then they'd be preserving the full gamut of things. And it'll be interesting to evaluate when they revise things inevitably for 6th edition, what the field will be like for people who want to make content for 5e and 6e. What they could actually publish. But yeah, this is a smokescreen because this claim that they have to protect their IP, that they need to draft new language to protect their IP, because it's already protected. There's the whole list in the current OGL of you can't use beholders, you can't use, mind flayers, etc. You can't use Forgotten Realms, etc., etc. DM Lord Spencer, $5 super chat, thank you, says, so how does making expansions to products under 1.0a work going forward if so much is available to rebuild D&D 0 to 5e or whatever? So they're saying there's already stuff to rebuild 0 to 5e, so how does making expansions to products under the current license work going forward? I'm not quite sure what the question is. I apologize. I mean, there's always lots of room to build on. It seems like what they're not explicit about in their statement is if you are actually producing things more after the date that this releases, that you'll be safe. And that's going to be the bigger concern for producing products under, and they're claiming that they're going to unauthorize 1.0a. They have not walked back on that. So there's going to be what we've forecast, a legal battle for the OSR to continue to publish. They have an existential problem, a problem of existence. They kind of rely on using the actual text of D&D. A lot, and so does many, even more so than people who want to publish for 5e. There's still going to be that same legal battle of, is the OGL revoked? Wizards is making clear they're still going to revoke it, or try to revoke it. Okay, super chat from that Clethos, $5, thank you. Should we look at the quote on the MTG card, bar the gate, and then check the art against the art used for the OGL update article. Do you know anything about this?
Yes, because for the image on the if you could open up our DMs just like on call, I don't think there's anything sensitive in there. At least
I can't really do it live.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna send you that. You can open in browser.
I've seen the bottom half of it, the artwork, but what does that have to do with this?
The flavor text is just like the like flavor description of the card, and it says this path is closed to you.
Oh,
and
okay.
So people are just memeing on them. Like,
It's a meme.
One.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate memes.
So Wizards is just kind of getting dunked now.
And I wonder if there's a picture that goes... Oh, whatever. They own both, so... Okay, WOTC'S for Greedy. And this mealy mouths... Okay, this is Harjutapa, $5 super chat, thank you. Says, WOTC'S for Greedy, and this mealy mouth statement isn't enough. I'm glad third-party companies are banding together for the Horde. That is the slogan that they should take, by the way. I've been seeing people saying, don't split the party.
Don't split the party is a good quote.
But for the Horde's better. And also the union
for the Horde is also
don't split the party.
Blizzard.
Huh?
So for the Horde is also copyrighted Blizzard because that's the Orcish Warcry of Warcraft.
There's legal issues there. Never mind.
No, we can't do that officially, but we can do it unofficially. Yeah.
The people can say it for the Horde. Timothy Serpet sent $10 super chat. Thank you. The time of the orc has come. Orc. And yes, I'm reading out every orc that you type, you guys. Any YouTube donations at this time? Or no? I prefer Stream Elements, you guys, because, they don't... That does not take 50% away. Okay. All right, so what we're announcing is that this is our announcement. We are... the idea was born a few days ago when someone on the Pathfinder 2e subreddit said that they were really moved by recent news and leaks to teach people the beginner box for Pathfinder 2e. It just struck me as that's probably going to be the attitude of a lot of people that there's going to be a lot of people who want to help new people on board, and that there's going to be a lot of people who want to learn the system, check it out, because Paizo's taking the lead with this orc license, which is great, and is saying in their statement, I should actually begin with their blog statement. I'm not going to read it all out, but just one sentence.
Yeah.
And their website is notoriously slow and is memed about among Pathfinder players.
Oh, yeah. The Paizo having a bad website is like the second thing you learn as a Pathfinder player to meme about.
Sometimes the first. A lot of people just couldn't buy the beginner box yesterday.
That is true. It was really bad yesterday. It's probably the first thing if you were learning the game now.
That's something in my teeth.
The first meme that you usually learn is, just look it up on Archives of Nethys.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's usually the first one.
All right, I just need to show this graph that I had, that I shared, of I have a video comparing how it's easier to GM. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me give the news before some people get angry with me. We're gonna do a beginner box weekend on my server for anybody who wants to learn the beginner box. To get a chance to be GM'd it. And also, if you want to make a custom character leading up to the weekend, you can get one-on-one help with people who'll be more than glad to help you make your first Pathfinder character. And we are asking for people to help become GMs and to become players. And to join my server, which I think is it linked in the video description, Sean?
It is linked in the video description. I can confirm that. And do you mind if I just take it from here? Because...
Go ahead.
And this will be tied into our drop-in play system if you want to keep on playing the custom character afterward. you can immediately just transfer them into our custom play system known as ETT. And if you join the server right now, you can go and read our welcome message in the overview channel for the beginner box, which is an entire channel grouping, one of the first things that you'll see when you get in. And there's also a role sign up where you can then sign up to say, I want to be a player or I want to be a GM. So go ahead, join the server, link in the description. Go look in there if you want to play and learn Pathfinder. So if you also know how to GM and you're willing to teach that to other people, that's great. We can always use more GMs for this kind of event. So then go in and click the green circle in the BB role sign up channel. All right?
Oh, and the weekend will be the weekend
will go from the 27th to the 29th Pacific Standard Time, but we will leave the channels open before and afterward in case people want to do pickup games of the beginner box still after the event.
Yeah, this is to kind of launch what I hope will be an ongoing thing that my server can organize of people learning the beginner box. We just want to do a big launch where people do the beginner box, which is 2 4-hour sessions on that weekend. And you can also just do one session on that weekend and then the next session later. We're going to have a whole professional sign-up system where it's similar to what conventions do if you want to join a table at a convention, where you can see everything organized by chronology, see which ones tables are filled and stuff. And we're going to have that too. On my screen, I'm showing it's a post I put on the subreddit Pathfinder 2e, which everyone should check out. The current surge of interest in Pathfinder 2e visualized. This is a graph of daily views of my video comparing GMing in Pathfinder 2e to 5e and the interest that's in it. And there was some increased interest in late December when my series launched of D&D YouTubers that include Treant Monk, D4 Deep Dives, Learning Pathfinder 2e, and I am GMing them. It was huge. And then there's been this huge spike increasing daily since the leaked language came out about the OGL. And on their webpage, Pathfinder is where they're announcing the orc license. They say, support Pathfinder's... we hope that you will continue to support Paizo and other game publishers in this difficult time for the entire hobby. You can do your part by supporting the many companies that have provided content under the OGL. Support Pathfinder and Starfinder by visiting your local game store, subscribing to Pathfinder and Starfinder, or taking advantage of discount code OPENGAMING during checkout for 25% off of basically the starter things, the core rulebook or the Pathfinder beginner box. And this was a nice dig against the draft leaked OGL, which wanted to claim 25% of all royalties, of all revenue beyond $750,000. They use the same percentage. But they also say to support Cobalt Press, which just announced that they're going to create an independent RPG system. These other companies that are going to be developing under this orc license. Green Ronin, do you know what they make, Sean?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, they don't include Chaosium here, which was earlier in the previous list, which makes Call of Cthulhu. I apologize to folks who play these other... I don't know the other ones much. Legendary Games, I know, is make third-party stuff that's really good for Pathfinder. Roll for Combat has done the biggest Kickstarters for Pathfinder 2e, and they've been leaking the information. I got my leak from Mark Seifter of Roll for Combat, and a lot of people who are watching know them. Rogue Genius Games. So basically, this is how we can support the open gaming now, by supporting and looking into these games that are promising to be part of this orc license. Not promising, but are part of developing the orc license, and basically to not support wizards anymore. And so Pathfinder 2e, I'm going to release a trailer soon for the beginner box weekend, is actually quite a straightforward system. I even put out a video saying Pathfinder 2e is the easiest RPG to learn, and I say that without, and I mean it. I know it has more rules than other RPG systems and rules light systems, but from my experience being a middle school teacher and knowing that group and people who are new to RPGs, a lot of the difficulty of being a GM is the just kind of leading a group, leading a table. And the gaminess of Pathfinder 2e and the physical mat and the little miniature pieces to visually represent all of the characters, the fact that it guides you room by room to teach you various rules. Every room teaches you more and more of the rules. It's a guided experience. Gets you past that learning curve so that the core rule book makes sense to you, which is a reference book. And what else do I want to say about it? Yeah, I do think it's an excellent thing. And let me just show what it's like. Here is the Pathfinder beginner box. And it has a lot of very visual things and reference cards for the players that explain the, several different types of actions you can use with your 3 actions in the 3-action economy, which is very straightforward. It's great. So if you cannot participate in the beginner box events on my server or the weekend, definitely get the beginner box for 25% off now and check out the system. It's my preferred system, and that's why people should support all these publishers, but it's just the system that I built my channel around and the community on my server around. So let me know if you have any questions. Are there questions about this event in chat that we should answer?
Yes, we were talking about the beginner box for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. There's a beginner box for Starfinder as well, but we're talking about 2nd Edition. Pathfinder.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else. Oh yeah, but also I think that even if you're not sure you would make your home campaign Pathfinder 2nd Edition or campaigns, it's worth checking out because I think there's a lot of design principles or design innovations in it that I think that any other, because it's now a mutual ecosystem of ideas, that when Cobalt Press is developing its system, MCDM develops its system, maybe they should have a 3-action economy, for instance, or maybe they should have, borrow some simplified actions for combat maneuvers that are really easy to adjudicate. The grapple chart from Pathfinder 1st Edition has been replaced by a single sentence.
Yeah.
So it aims to do the complexity and customization of Pathfinder 1st Edition, but through modern technology, and is not tied to rules made 20 years ago. So I think we've gone over what we wanted. I'm just going to read the latest messages. Buckaroo Banzai asks, what is the Discord address? Can we make it the lead comment, the first comment under the video? Can we? I can try to do that.
Okay.
So I'm working on
That's
that.
a way to pin comments, and pin
I think I can pin
in
comments.
YouTube chat as well. So
Invite people. Okay, let me put it under. How do I get? I'm gonna That's the invitation link, Sean. Can you put the comment in and I'll pin it later?
Yep, I have spammed it into chat a few times now.
Okay,
but
good.
I'll do it again. There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, well, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I plan to also do a live read and analysis of the OGL 2.0 when it comes out. And also, OGL is completely a misnomer. As I said at the beginning of the stream, according to 1.1, open game the phrase doesn't appear anywhere. And they changed the term open game contents to licensed content. They replaced that phrase. So OGL quote unquote 2.0. I'm gonna do that, and also check out my other videos, including my my analysis of the Paizo news, which is my most recent video. Any last thoughts, Sean, before we end? I don't have anything.
People are asking for a different Discord link. I'm currently dealing with a lot of people asking questions on the Discord server, which you should totally join, and I will get you a...
Yeah, someone's wondering how they can join on the Discord app. You know what? I am your servant, folks. I'm going to go on my phone here.
All right.
Because can you just search for rule... We surpassed a certain size, and our server's been boosted. I imagine when you search for the server, you just type in rules lawyer. Whoever asked that, there's a search function that to join a server, to add a server. There's go on the left hand side. It shows all of the icons of all the servers you're part of. Scroll down to the bottom, and there'll be a plus sign. All right.
And our server name is no results found for the rules lawyer. So I don't know. I found that Discord search is always pretty
crappy. Good.
Yeah. Pretty jank. Server settings. Yeah.
Wait. When I press the plus sign and it gives me an option to create a server. I do not want that, and so at the bottom I click join a server instead, and then it lets me put in the HTTP thing.
Yep, and then you can copy the link that we've been spamming in the chat. Woo-hoo!
Yeah, so you still use the HTTP thing. Any other questions?
I'm gonna spam some things. Yeah, not a lot of people boost. It's pretty rare, but like we're boosted enough to the point where we can stream in HD, which is a thing.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough boosts. We should get one though. We'll need some donations though, because if we're gonna do this in the future, it's like to get this professional convention like tables sign up system, it's gonna cost money. But
yeah.
Orc. This is an exciting time, folks. Who was I watching? I forget which streamer. I think it was Nonat who said this was history. That this is like one of the most... Somebody said
top
it.
5 moment. It was Nonat. He said this is probably one of the top 5 moments in tabletop gaming history, if you consider the start of it to be Gygax.
Yes.
So...
Guitar Guy Nick wants to help. Yes, definitely. Okay, so one more time before we log off. So we are doing a open invitation in perpetuity, but it is possibly revocable. I might for some reason not be able to support it anymore, but we have no end date planned. But we do have a launch planned of Beginner Box Weekend, where people who want to teach Pathfinder via the Beginner Box, and people who want to learn Pathfinder with the Beginner Box get to play on our server. And we're coordinating all of the, organizing the groups. And also, if you want to make a custom character, you get, help. You get to go into chat and talk to people who know more about Pathfinder, who want more people to learn this game. So to join the Rules Lawyer Discord server and scroll. Sean, do this part. Do what exactly they do. To join.
You cut out on my end, but I just want to mention that 2 people boosted the server right after we complained about not enough people boosting the server.
Thank you, folks. They're like, we don't want to type these letters anymore. This sucks. But thank you. We should have, a nice, sexy Discord link.
We'll get working on it.
Yeah. Thank you. But people should join the server and do what to join the event, Sean?
People should go and find the beginner box channel grouping, which is right underneath like the welcome grouping. It's the first like drop down list of channels. And go in there, you can read the overview message that basically just says what all the channels are for. Sign up for the roles and the role sign up. Talk about the event in the general chat. Introduce yourself, state what time zone you're in the Introduce Yourself channel. Get threads for custom characters. Ask questions from the player side. And then if you sign up to be a GM, you get access to the GM question and GM private chat thing.
Okay. And so if you're interested in becoming a GM, even if it's not for the Beginner Box Weekend, take the role. We're going to message... By taking the role, we can collectively message everybody at once and get some feedback from you guys so that we can get an estimate of how many groups we need of how many groups to expect, and just figure out logistics from that point. We need to get an estimate of how many people are coming. Of course, it may be underestimating because WotC continues to recruit more people to check out Pathfinder every day. So we'll need to account for that possibility, but it still helps us to get a preliminary number.
Yeah. And I am blown away by the amount of feedback we have now that we've plugged it thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay, Old Goblin thanks me for the content. You're welcome. I'm very glad. I love hearing more people appreciating the videos. Marcus Katz gives £5. Yay, I'm 50 plus years old, but I got onto the Discord and introduced myself. I am with the cool kids. If I can do it, anyone can. LOL, thanks. Yay, cool. I am 45 years old. I am not as young as some of the other folks that I stream with. And let me see if there's any last super chats.
All right.
Okay, 3 more super chats. Bad Joke Gaming, $5, thank you. People are already acting like they're tired of hearing about this after about a week. Please don't let people forget. Everyone keep banded together. Yeah, I think the fact that so many people were fired up by WotC means that some people are going to be continuing to try to support and foster this movement away from WotC. Including some third-party companies with resources. I have a lot of optimism. Celeria Rosenqua sends $5.20. Thank you. It's quite demoralizing to see this happening given my work to revise 5e, but it continues to be a pleasure to watch your content. Thank you very much. And hopefully, what I hope is that in the Orc license, there can be an effort to do something that is in the spirit of 5e. It may be one of, honestly, these larger third-party publishers going independent, they, 5e, I think, tries to do a couple of things simultaneously. It's like kind of a multi-headed Hydra, kind of. And so doesn't give DM support in either goal. Like, it's arguably too crunchy for narrative first gaming, and also very hard to balance for combat tactical gaming. And so I think this actually in the long run is going to be helpful for people looking for a rules medium system that is allows for tactics, and also those to look for something that supports, say, more narrative play that you see on Critical Role. So I'm hoping that under the Orc license that can happen. And 5e, to be honest, was an unstable system. It was kind of a first draft of a system. Bonus actions were not play tested. That idea of a separate action you cannot trade for other actions was not play tested. I go into it more in my video on the 3-action economy. And, you know, there's a lot of legacy that people over time are just not happy with, like Force Cage. Like, you know, that goes back to the beginnings of D&D, but to be able to shut down a martial character without a saving throw, I mean, do we really want that? Like, it's you know, it was definitely an improvement above 3E in terms of accessibility and making things easier, lowering the number of buffs you'd have to do before combat, simplifying the number of bonuses that you would have to add in 3E and first edition Pathfinder. But it was a first draft of what it was trying to do. Marcus Cat sent $6.05 super chat. Thank you. Oh, and that's the 50-year-old who's joining the cool kids. Okay, so that's it, everybody. We're done, Sean, I believe.
I just want to say thank you again because 2 more people have boosted since that last time.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
Now we can actually generate the custom link.
You know what? Everybody, please boost because there's probably more cool things we can do with the Discord server that's boosted.
And you do get a free boost with Nitro if I remember right. So
I have Nitro, but it takes several boosts to get to the next level.
It does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. 1,170 people. This is great. And this is an exciting time for the hobby, as I said. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Check out the D&D YouTubers Learn Pathfinder 2E series on my channel. And also support my Patreon, where I have the full videos of that, where I'm teaching folks. And I'm a lawyer who does not earn money doing law. I'm part of a civil rights group where we collectively support each other with rent. And so I rely on the Patreon and private jamming. So that's it, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.
Make sure to join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Description.
Learn the beginner box or teach the beginner box. Okay, join the revolution, the orc revolution.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Bye, chat.
Cool. All right, how many people took the role?